Hi everyone, Meteorologist Melissa Meeder here with you. It is 8:13 on our Tuesday morning. Today, our first warm weather day is in place. We continue with the heat and the humidity. We're well into the triple digits once again. Actual temperatures in the 90s, but things are changing and changing possibly for the better. We are going to see a drastic drop in temperatures as well as humidity values for the rest of the week, and that is going to be due to a cold front that moves through on Wednesday. That cold front also lodging rain and thunderstorm activity in the area. But once that's out, we're looking at quiet, dry, comfortable conditions, which we haven't seen in a while. Here's a look at our Midwest heating, cooling, and plumbing camera here on this Tuesday morning. Things are mainly quiet. Sunshine is out there right now at this time, but it is going to be a really, really hot day once again. Yesterday, I saw heat index values of at least 111 degrees, so very hot yesterday. We are going to continue to be very hot today. So keep that in mind if you are going to be out and about. Know, though, that there is relief on the horizon. So if you're trying to limit your time outside due to the heat, it will not be very long until we see comfortable conditions to be out and about. So for today, 94, feeling like 105 to 110 degrees, very hot. Very humid. We will be mostly sunny. There will be the chance for an isolated pop-up shower or rumble of thunder. That's mainly this evening, generally along and south of I-70. Maybe some rain, some thunderstorms, but we're not expecting the coverage to be, scattered, just very isolated, small chance there. And then we have the first warn in place on Wednesday. Today, you will need, of course, your t-shirt, your shorts, your sunglasses, and your SPF. It's going to be a very hot day today. Now, we do have heat advisories in effect. They continue until 7 p.m. But as for right now, things are already toasty out there. We're in the low 80s. It's 81 right now. It's 78 in Lawrence. It's 80 in Olathe, 82 in Lee Summit. We're likely already feeling like near the 90-degree mark. 87 is what it feels like right now. We will continue to see those temperatures heat up into around 90 by the time we get to 11. So we're going to be running to the 90s today and hanging out there for several hours. It's by the time we get to Wednesday where we start to see rain, thunderstorm activity return, some of which could bring heavy rainfall. It's looking like a few spotty to scattered rounds at this point. There is a level 1 out of 5 severe risk for the area. Now, that's going to be for wind and heavy rainfall. Right now, it looks like anywhere between about 1 to 2 inches of rain on the high end could be possible. And so keep that in mind because we have seen so much rain here recently. So when we talk about that potential for flooding, flash flooding, we still do have that threat for our Wednesday. We have just seen so much amount of rain here. We are the 9th wettest July on record, and more than half of that rain fell in a 9-day period. So our ground is saturated. Due to the saturation of the ground, may not be able to take a whole lot of rain. 1 to 2 inches would be possible. However, it depends on also how quickly that rain falls as well. So the combination of our ground being so saturated and then the potential to see 1 to 2 inches, and also whether or not we are going to see this rainfall fast or a little bit slower, that's where we have that potential to see that flash flooding or flooding concern. However, it's not looking as widespread as anything was looking last week, which is good news. I mentioned a few little rounds that move through tomorrow. One in the morning, we get a break mid-morning, then starts to build back in for the afternoon, and then another round that comes back for the evening. The evening round generally looks off towards the southeast. But let's get into what we've got really here over the next 36 hours. Today is the last hot day. Tomorrow, we already feel a little bit cooler by the time we get to tomorrow. And so we have that chance for rain and storms. The cloud cover, the cold front, the chance for rain keeps us cooler tomorrow. So we're not going to see the full effects of that cold front tomorrow. It will be after Wednesday where we see significant relief in heat, but also in humidity values. We are, have been very humid, near the miserable category here over the last several days, but check that out. We drop into the a bit humid, near the comfortable range once we get to the end of the work week and the weekend and into next week. So there is nice relief in sight. That's going to come with a nice pairing of temperatures as well. 94 today. We are 86 tomorrow. And with that chance for some rain and thunderstorm activity. But take a look at this. 78 degrees on Thursday. We have not seen the 70s since June, and this temperature, 78, is average for late September. So we're kind of feeling fall-like out there by the time we get to Thursday. There's a 30% chance for some rain in the morning, but overall it looks to be, to me, trending a little bit drier than we had once thought. So you could see some changes there as you go into this afternoon for Thursday's rain chance. Let's break down Wednesday. Wednesday brings the potential for some strong to severe storms along our northern border, a level 1 out of 5 risk. That is going to be for early Wednesday morning. Damaging winds and heavy rain are the primary threats. Once we get to the afternoon into the evening, that threat shifts towards the east and extends. So generally along state line and towards the east if you live in Missouri. Level 1 out of 5 risk, highlighted in green. Damaging winds, heavy rainfall are the primary threats there. So for the morning, here's a look at what we've got for the morning commute. From 4 a.m. to about 10, it looks like rain and storms hover along the northern border, but may stretch down to the I-70 corridor. Once we then get into about 10 o'clock, we've got spotty activity to scattered as we go through midday. And then once we get towards the evening, if you look off towards the southeast, I'd mentioned better chances off towards the southeast. There's a look at that there, some of which could be strong to severe. So keep that in mind. It's mainly off towards the southeast, but could here within the next 24 hours shift, 50 miles out towards the west, and then we have rain and storms here. So that's why we got that chance for rain and storms throughout the day on Wednesday. We then start to see some activity push out, and then things are mainly quiet once we go to bed on Wednesday. So as I'd mentioned, we're still watching the potential for some spotty rain on the morning hours of Thursday, but otherwise trending much drier. Here's a look at those rainfall totals. As you can see, there's some pockets in our northern area between about 1 to 2 inches, and still some pockets of 1 to 2 inches elsewhere. But as you can see, many areas between about 1/4 to about 3/4 of an inch will be possible. So this is something we're watching very, very closely here, especially the nature of the last week and a half. So know that there is that potential there. However, it's going to be very isolated. That 7-day forecast still has more 70s, though, on the board. We won't see another 90 here for the next 7 days after today. So 86 on Wednesday. We are in the upper 70s on Thursday. Friday through Sunday, nearly a picture-perfect weekend. 76 to 81 degrees, partly cloudy conditions, low humidity values, comfortable. And take a look at those morning low temperatures in the lower 60s. That's going to be kind of chilly. We have not felt a low 60-degree morning here in quite a while. Now, we will build back up into the low 80s once we get to Sunday and Monday, but still, we're well below our average, which is 90 at this point. Our next chance for rain doesn't come in until Monday of next week at a 20% chance. That is the latest info I've got for you here on this first warn weather day. I will leave you with the 7-day forecast to look at those 70s that are left here on the 7-day forecast, which is a nice change that we're going to have here over about the next 36 hours.